Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm a watercolor painter. I paint better than I talk. Turns out I paint better than I write, so I'm painting. So I'm just going to do some of the colors here. A little bit of purple. You know, bad stuff happens. It just does. We all get it. We don't want it, but it kind of makes the good stuff look better. So I'm going to put a little bit more good stuff in. A little bit more orange. Let's have orange sunshine. Yeah. And this could be an ocean. I could put some green in, but I don't think I will. I'll just stick to the reds and the oranges, the bright, light, high-key colors, with a little bit of purple and blue now and went thin too. Since I invited Jesus into my life, things have gotten wonderful. Not everything is wonderful, of course. I mean, everybody's got stuff that happens, and I certainly have, but Jesus has really helped me. He's guided me for over 50 years. So I really wanted to tell about him, tell about the paintings that I've done for him, about him, what they have done in my life and in the lives of my family members. That's kind of what this is about. It's about painting, of course, because that's what I do, but it's about the reason for the painting. So next I'm going to show you some of the paintings I've done that he's inspired, and I'm going to explain them. This painting, just one flower, basically. Isn't God amazing? All he puts into just one flower. When you start looking at it, when you really look at it, there's so much you can see. And I found a bee getting the honey. And just to be sure that when people who see this painting understand that this is one of God's wonderful creations, I put a few words in. Be a sweet fragrance to our Lord. That's what we could all be. We could all make the Lord smile. I kind of try to do that. Sure don't make it very much of the time, but that's what he did when he gave us flowers. He gave us something with sweet fragrance. Okay, this is a different kind of painting. The Lord not only decorates the earth with flowers for us to enjoy, but he feeds us. Of course he does. And I just became fascinated one time with carrots, with the fact that you put a tiny little seed in the soil and it grows and grows and grows. And look at the layers of soil it has to go through to grow into something that is good for us, that is nourishing for us. And so I put the carrots, artistically, of course, placed, not the way they really grew, and I painted the soil, which is not easy to do. You can't paint dirt and have it enjoyable, but it comes in layers, it really does, and then taste his goodness, because God sends us these things for us. Isn't he good? Okay, this painting was part of a small series, Gifts of the Spirit, Faith, Hope, and Love. The first one I painted was faith. I wanted faith to be something strong. And of course, you know I'm doing flowers. The strength of the iris really kind of struck me. It starts out in the soil as this little bitty brown thing growing in the soil. And the Lord has instructed it at a certain time to start popping up toward the light. So it grows and it grows and it grows, and the strength that it takes for this thing to grow and to come into this gorgeous, gorgeous creation that he has made is just amazing to me. And so I thought that faith could be represented by the lovely iris, which grew all this way to be a lovely gift for us to see. And this one is the third in the series, Faith, Hope, and Love. This is love, of course. Roses are pretty much thought of as the gift of love. I like yellow roses myself. In fact, I had them in my wedding bouquet 60 years ago. So I made the yellow rose. I painted the yellow rose. I took a photo of yellow roses that I have growing in my garden. And I painted this one with a thorn. I didn't want to leave out the thorns because, that's life. It has thorns. And I also put a couple teardrops on it. Thorns and life kind of bring teardrops when you dare to love. And the one that I called Hope, I don't have anymore. A friend came. She wanted to buy something for a friend of hers who was moving away. I thought, what an appropriate thing for her to give to her friend. Her friend was essentially starting a new life. She wanted to give her friend hope. Is that a lovely thing to do? Yes. I was very glad to see it go to a happy home. Right now, we're going through a really tough time. My husband, Ed, is in the hospital, and he's been there for 2 months. We don't know how long that's going to last. Of course, it's been hard on him. It's also been hard on me. I've had a lot of time to paint, although I didn't always feel like it. Had a lot of time to reflect. Sometimes people say to me that they wish they could paint, but one of the things that I often will say back to them is, you probably have a gift. I was just blessed to know what my gift was. Not everybody is that blessed, but if you hook up with God, He'll show you the plan. Jesus is the way to God. He is the bridge. I invited Jesus into my life, and I knew the plan. We each have a different plan. For instance, I'll say, do you know how to balance your checkbook? And they'll say, yes, most people do. I'll say, well, that's a gift I don't have. It's true. So God will show you your plan. And each stroke of God's painting makes it more beautiful. Helps us to blossom. Helps us to be the people that He designed us to be. During this time, it's been tough, but you know what? I have never felt more loved than I feel right now. We have just been showered with gifts, beautiful cards people have sent, food that has shown up at our door. During this time of COVID, nobody wants to come in. That's okay. It's just been wonderful with my precious family around me, treating me like I'm the patient. It's been hard, but you know what? It's been good. You can't turn your back on the hard because it's part of life. One of the things that showed up at our front door was a neighbor brought a beautiful flower, just one big, beautiful flower. We got lots of lovely things, but this flower, it was just too beautiful. And I felt like I needed to paint it. I like to use my phone while I'm painting. I can get up close to it. I can see the details if I want to. It's not very often that I will get one thing that works for a painting. Usually I have to put various things together. I have to create it. But this one flower just really does it. Years ago, the reason I started painting watercolor was because I was standing in a garden and I was looking at how intricate one beautiful flower was, and a voice came to me. It wasn't audible, but it was a message from the Lord that I knew it was from Him. What He said was, "You will paint my beautiful world and give me credit for it." And I thought, okay, how am I really going to do that? But I have found through the years that if the Lord gives me a message, and this was a really clear one, that if I don't do it, I'm going to be sorry. I'm going to have fewer blessings and more regrets. So I started painting. I hadn't been painting for a while. That was over 20 years ago. I'm still painting and loving it and giving Him credit. So I took this and I started drawing. Okay, this is watercolor paper, torn by myself. I always like to tear the edges. I think it makes it look more like a watercolor when it's torn. Figuring that out as I go. That's how it starts. So I've gotten to this point in the painting, and it doesn't look like much. I put the light colors in first. That's the way I work with the watercolor. And I look at it and I think, okay, I've got the light colors in now. Now I need to put in the darks. I'm going to put a lot of dark around here and around there. And the darks are going to kind of pop the lights so that the lights look really good. And you know what kind of makes me think of life? Here I am, I'm back at life again. We do need the dark days in order to make us appreciate the good stuff. When I think back on when Ed first retired, we would have a lot of ordinary days. And an ordinary day for us would be, I'd be painting a little bit. I'd go work in the garden. Ed would go out on his bike. Right now, what we're going through, those look like really precious days. That's just the way life is. We need the bad and we need the good. We need it all. God is showing us things with each one. Well, I am finishing this up. I'd say it's done. And this is the flower that our neighbor brought to the door. You know, when you look at these flowers and see how intricate they are, look at the tiny little seeds. They start with tiny little seeds. Isn't that just amazing? I've done some others too. Lately, I've had more time to paint. Here's this. Okay. These we actually grew here, azaleas. And here's another one with a lot of dark. This is a really unusual plant. It's called a dombea. I love to paint it. So when you look at the flowers, the trees, nature, we call it nature, the things that God has created, the small ones that grow from tiny seeds, the big ones, mountains, Grand Canyon. God created all of this. He is the creator of the world. Surely, He created us too, each of us individually, and He must have a plan for us. So years ago, once I realized that I had kind of messed up things, I decided to say the prayer. The simple little prayer, just inviting Jesus into my life. I asked Him to forgive me for some of the stuff I've done. And I invited Him to take over because I wanted His plan, not mine. My plan hadn't been real good from the start. So the simple prayer was, Dear Lord, please come into my life. Please take over my life. Please be the one that I go to. And you know what? He will be. He will be the one who will get you through the dark stuff and the light stuff. He'll get you through whatever He has ordained for you to be going through. And it'll be good. And one more thing. Remember this? We started with this. At the very end, when your plan is finished, when He has seen you to the end, then you will see Jesus, the light of the world, and He will say, welcome, welcome to eternity.